What's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of Echoes of Elsewhere. I'm your host, Courtney Autumn, and I am beyond excited to take you on a journey into the world of urban exploration. A world of forgotten buildings, eerie graveyards, abandoned factories, and places that time has all but erased. So buckle up, because this is going to be one wild ride. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let me tell you a little about myself. I've always been an explorer at heart. I grew up in Germany, where my childhood playgrounds were quaint villages surrounded by vineyards and historic churches, mysterious little chapels, stuff like that. Even as a kid, I was drawn to places that whispered of the past, though I was far too scared back then to venture into anything truly abandoned. To my younger self, abandoned, for some reason, meant haunted. And I'm not sure if I'm alone in that. If you've ever had that same childhood perception, let me know. I'm curious if that's just me. Fast forward a few years and I'm living in the States, where my love for exploring only grew. From riding my bike through the woods behind our apartment complex in Washington State, just on the outskirts of Seattle, to stumbling upon hidden campsites and old gas stations. I've always had a knack for wandering off the beaten path, but my true passion for urban exploration didn't ignite until I stepped foot into an abandoned school when I was 19, and that experience was like flipping a switch. It was a time capsule. The desks were still in place. There were lessons on the chalkboard. Old film slips were scattered around. It was haunting, exhilarating, and utterly captivating. And that's the moment that I knew this was something that I had to keep doing. Urban exploration, or Urbex as we like to call it, means different things to different people. But for me, it's about stepping into the past, documenting it, and preserving it for others to experience. I'm not here to vandalize or take what doesn't belong to me. I'm here to tell the stories that these places hold and to share the beauty in their decay, as we like to say. Sadly, not everyone approaches it with the same respect. One of the reasons I started this podcast is to combat the negative stigma that has somehow attached itself to Urbex over the years. There's a big difference between explorers who preserve and those who destroy. And I am here to shine a light on the former, if you will. So, what can you expect from Echoes of Elsewhere? We'll dive into some of my favorite explorations and the stories behind them, obviously. I'll take you along on new adventures, and we'll explore some of the fascinating history tied to these places. We'll also talk about the ethics of Urbex, the challenges of keeping locations safe from vandalism, and even some of the supernatural tales that inevitably come with exploring these eerie spots. And of course, I'll bring on some incredible guests, fellow explorers with their own stories to tell and wisdom to share. If you're curious about abandoned schools, forgotten factories, decrepit mansions, or overgrown graveyards, this is the podcast for you. If you've ever wondered what it's like to walk into a place where time stands still, where the air is thick with history, and where every creak of the floorboards tells a story. Welcome. You're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode or an adventure. You can also follow me on Instagram at Urbex Echoes for behind the scenes photos, videos, and updates on upcoming episodes. And if by chance you're into mental health, astrology, and a bit of revisiting the past in a different way, check out my other podcast, Life in Retrograde. But for now, let's focus on the thrill of discovery, the beauty of decay, and the echoes of elsewhere. Thanks for tuning in, and I can't wait to take you along on this adventure.